Alright, hi everyone, once again, my name is Vova, I'm the head of community at SmartCAT, and today we will be talking about computer-aided translation. Now, for the avoidance of doubt, we will not be going into, we won't be going too deep into the topic. Instead, we will have a brief overview of the basic concepts that you need to know to start working with CAT tools at all, and with SmartCAT in particular. Alright, so why do people use CAT tools at all? There are many reasons, but I will mention 4 of them. First, translators need to have some environment where they can edit their translation, where they can input their translation in a view that is more convenient than using simple text processors or other formats in which documents are created. Second, it is to ensure better quality through various means which we will talk about in some time. Third is to manage translation projects, because as we know, our work does not start with the first word entered, it starts earlier, and it does not end with the last one. So to manage projects is also a crucial part of what we do, even if we are just freelancers, or even more so if we are freelancers. And the last one is collaboration. Not all CAT tools feature this, but it is very important in modern environments, and we will also come back to this later. So let's go to this, we can call translation-oriented editing. I couldn't find a better term for this, but I will show it in practice so it will become clear. Let me see if you see my screen. You don't see my screen. Okay, let me hide the full results, and you will hopefully see my screen. 1 second, please. Yeah, you should see it now. So I was talking 2 minutes before. Here is the presentation that I was showing. I will send it out after the webinar so you can recap at any moment what we talked about here. But for now, we will switch again to translation-oriented editing. So what I mean by this is, see, here we have the list of projects I have on my account. It's a test account, but anyway. So we see 3 projects here, and what is interesting is that all these projects are in different file formats originally. For instance, this one is an Excel file, this one is an HTML file, and these 3 are PDFs. But as soon as we open them in a CAT tool, SmartCAT in this case, you can see. 1 second. Roberto, I will come back to your question a moment later. You can see that they all look the same in the editor, which is 2-column view with the original column on the left and the translation column on the right. So whatever file format you are working with, you just enter the translation in the right column, and that's how you do your translation work, which is very handy because it allows you not to get distracted on anything else like formats or too small fonts and so on. Okay, Roberto, if you had a question, you can type it in. You should have the button which is called Ask a Question. You can just type it in and I will answer. Okay, you put your hand down. Yeah, if anyone wants to ask a question at any moment, just raise your hand. There should be this button with the hand to the left of your control panel. So just click it. I will see that you want to ask a question, and I will get to you. So getting back to our topic, you do a translation by simply entering it here. Something like this. I'm not too good in Spanish, that's why I'm sorry in advance for any mistakes I may make. So when you have entered the translation for this first sentence, you just click confirm, In most CAT tools, it is Control Enter. It's somehow standard for this action, and it is remembered, and you can see that the progress moves. So you can see how far you are in translating a certain document. Now, what is interesting here is that you can see these orange pentagons there. Let's get to them, and I will explain what they are. So these pentagons are called tags. They are needed to represent the formatting in the original document. Because we don't have formatting in the CAT tool, we can just see that there is something different here. If we actually take a look at this file, let me find where I had it. You can see that here we have, for instance, italic. That's why it is represented with text here. So tags are an important part of what there is in CAT tools, and working with them is also an essential part. So to add a tag, you just click Alt plus the number of the tag, for instance Alt1, and you can enter the same text here. But as I already said, I'm not fluent in Spanish, so I will not try. Instead, I will show you what we have here is machine translation. Now, machine translation should not be confused with computer-aided translation. These are two different things. A lot of people confuse them, maybe because of the names. And a lot of people who join SmartCAT write to us asking, okay, I opened the program, where is my automatic translation? It's not exactly what a CAT tool does. Maybe not at all what a CAT tool does, but modern CAT tools, such as SmartCAT, have this capability. So when you have a machine translation, you see it in the CAT panel, in SmartCAT, in other CAT tools that may be in a different place, but usually not hard to find. And you can double click it, have it inserted here. Then you can edit it. Especially to aspiring translators, I do not recommend using machine translation for critical documents or for documents requiring some creativity or something, because it actually makes the translation worse, even if you make it grammatically correct. It's important that in such texts you translate from the very beginning. But if you have some very simple words like contents or something, you can insert them from machine translation. It will save you some time. All right. So if you see this arrow here to the left, it means that this text is also repeated somewhere. This is what we call translation memory. It means that you can reuse your existing translations in your future documents, and you can also use your past translations in these documents. For instance, if we enter here the Cerceta Canela as a translation for cinnamon teal, which is a sort of a duck, I think. I'm not that interested in ducks, it was just a random article I found on Wikipedia. If you confirm it here, you can see that down below, where it appears once again, you have it once again. Translation memories also work with partial translation, with partial matches. It means that, for instance, here you have the name of the article followed by Wikipedia, the pre-encyclopedia. If you open some other document, which is also from Wikipedia, let's try opening this one. Also, we can put the text because it's probably repeated in all Wikipedia articles. We will put this text here, and then we open another article, which is also from Wikipedia. And if you move on here, you can see that there is a match In this case, it's a 100% match. Means that we have an exactly the same translation somewhere. If you move here, now we don't have a match here, but what I'm trying to say is that if we had some sentence that would be different from this one in one or two words, it would also be noticed as a match, as a partial match, and the system would propose us to insert it and change it a bit. Well, we can try, by the way. Let me create quickly a document in Microsoft Word where we can just put one line, and instead from Wikipedia the free encyclopedia, we will put Wikipedia the good encyclopedia. What else? We will save it. And you will also, by the way, see how we can quickly create a document here in SmartCAT. So we are creating a new project. We use this file. Specify that it's a translation to Spanish. And make it reuse the translation memory we have. I will come back to this later, but for now, you can just see that I snagged this translation memory that we had for this project, for the first project. Now when I created this document, and we open it, you can hopefully see that there is a partial match. See, here we have an 86% match. If you insert it and look here, you can see the difference. So the CAT tool, SmartCAT in this case, it identifies the differences between the match it has in its database and the one you have in your current translation, which is also very handy because you don't always have exact matches, but you have partial matches all of the time, especially if you're translating some technical or medical content where some sentences repeat from document to document. That's it. So this one we call translation memory, and this is the basics of what you do in the translation editor. Now we go on to the second part. It's called quality assurance. So there are several ways a CAT tool can ensure your quality. Here they are. We come back to this. You can have a dictionary within a CAT tool. Not every CAT tool has this. We do. I'm not sure about all other CAT tools, but some do, some don't. For instance, you don't know how encyclopedia is translated. You select this word. You press Ctrl I. It is not found in the dictionary. Okay, let's try something simpler. It's strange. Okay, something probably isn't working right now. Okay, I see. It was looking for them not in. It was looking for them in client dictionaries. It works some other way. Let's see some other documents, which is not from this client. I'll come back to this later. For instance, we can see this one. Let's see if we click on the word page. If we look up in the dictionary. Anyway, it doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Usually it does. Something goes wrong now, but we will submit it back and see what was going wrong. The second part is concordance search. It means that if you had some previous translation and it was written into translation memory, you can find such usage examples from the past. For instance, let's try once again with the word encyclopedia. and we try concordant search. For this, we will just click Ctrl K. Here we see that we already had 2 times where we translated this word, and you can see how we translated it. Of course, with this word it's very easy, but if you're working on some project that a lot of people had translated before you, it might be not that easy. So it's very useful to have this feature. It ensures consistency from project to project. It ensures that the client doesn't come back to you saying that you are using some wrong terms. And speaking of terms, there is another thing that is very useful in this case, which is called glossaries. In other CAT tools, it is called terminology basis or something like this, but in general, we mean small dictionaries, sometimes not small dictionaries, which are created either by clients or by translators, and it is supplemented each time when someone wants to add a new term. For instance, here we have this cinnamon tea. We can press Ctrl E or put it here. The term, and we can write this as vanilla. You can select the glossary here. Now we have one glossary connected to this project. So we just choose it, click Add. Now what happens? First of all, each time we now have this word in the search text, it is highlighted. So we can see right away that this is some standard term that we must pay attention to, that we must translate some certain way. Next, in the CAT space, we can find what this translation is. We can once again insert it by pressing Ctrl+3 or just by double clicking here. Now, not all CAT tools have terminology control inside. Sometimes you have to purchase it additionally. I suggest that you find out for your specific CAT tool. In case of SmartCAT, it is all built in. You don't need any additional software, any additional payments. Everything works from the very beginning and from the platform itself. And finally, we have QA checks. Now, in the most easy case, QA check allows us the same functionality as a spell check. For instance, you can see that here we have some glued words, we will have some unknown words, and first of all, it underlines them, and secondly, when we try to confirm such a segment, it indicates that you have certain errors. You can also skip them for now and later create a report, which will be in Excel, and where you will have the list of all your errors displayed. Now, what's interesting is that beyond these simple spell checking capabilities, you have customizable rules for QA. Let me get back to your question. Oh, so you don't hear me good, right? I will now try to make it better. 1 second. Is it better like this? Elena, can you type in? Oh, so now an interesting question. Did any of you understand anything I was talking about previously? I'm sorry for that. So if you want me to get back to any part I was speaking about before this, let's discuss it. Just type in the question pane and I will get back and explain. Okay, so I hope that you still could understand what I was talking about before this. But anyway, now I was talking about the QA rules. So you can go to the project and see, no, not in this document, in the one that we're working in now. can see a report of the errors that were identified. And you can go to the segment where this error took place. And you can also configure the rules. To do this, you go to the project, either from the main workspace or from the projects page. You click Settings, then you click Setup Quality Assurance, and here you have an extensive list of the errors that can be identified. For instance, you could identify that source and target end with different punctuation marks would lead to a critical error. If you set such a rule, in this case, you will not be able to confirm such a segment. For instance, here you have full stop in the original column and the question mark in the target column. If you try to confirm that segment, the system says that there is a critical error. So you have to get back and correct it. Now, maybe with this exact error, it's not a good thing to configure. But for instance, there are cases when there is some term that can be translated one or another way, and one way is clearly not correct. In this case, you can configure your glossary in such a way that whenever someone tries to enter an incorrect term, the system will not let confirm such segment. So that's it for the quality assurance. Now, maybe any of you had any questions, let's discuss, because I want it to be an interactive webinar, so ask and I will try to answer. Okay, if no questions so far, let us move to the next topic, which is called project management. Now, as I said, a translation project does not start with translation. It starts when you receive a document and when you have to process it and get back to the customer saying, for instance, how much it would cost or something like this. To do this, you have to count the words in this document. And with CAT tools, it becomes very easy, much easier than it can be with other formats. If in Microsoft Word it's more or less easy, there are other systems in which it is not that easy. For instance, if you want to count words in an Excel document, it becomes a torture because you need to copy-paste everything into Word and calculate it there. The same cases when you receive several documents. So in a CAT tool, this is handled naturally. You just, in case of SmartCAT, you press the button which is called Statistics, and it displays the statistics for the whole project and also for individual documents in the project. You can see the number of words, the number of segments, pages, characters with and without spaces. You can also see how many words are new and how many are repeated. Also how many are repeated from other files. When, for instance, several files have the same sentence, it is also underlined. Here below you can see the matches from your translation memory. So in projects when you receive some translation memory from the customer, or where you have your own translation memory, you can see how much of the volume is repeated from your past translations, which can also help you set the right price for this project. Next one, you have resources. As I said, you can reuse translation memories and glossaries from previous projects, and in a CAT tool, in SmartCAT, they are all stored in one place. You can open and see them, and when you create a new project, you can reuse them. And going to the last topic, if you have, for instance, a client from whom you receive some constant workflow, you can add him here. I called them Acme Corp. And then when you create a new project, let's try this. For instance, we use this wild doom rule document. I guess Dr. Metin Yurtbashi is here. This wild doom rule is a volunteer project that we are doing together with Metin Yurtbashi from the Bayburt University in Turkey. And here is it is a Turkish epic tale, a very interesting one, by the way. So if we set here that it comes from the same client, it does not, but let's say it does. And if we said that we want to translate it to Spanish, the system automatically proposes to use the translation memories and glossaries we have from this client. That's it. So managing clients is also a part of project management, a part of customer relationship management, and it simplifies a lot the process of working with recurring and returning clients. Now for the last part of it, of project management, which is called contributors, we need to go to a different account. Now to explain, in SmartCAT you have personal accounts and you also have corporate accounts. To be clear, both of them are free to use. So even if you have a personal account, you can sign up with a new corporate account and it will not cost you anything. But some of the features are available only in corporate accounts, others are available only in personal accounts. For instance, in personal accounts, you can market your services by filling up your profile, and customers can look for you in the directory and hire you to do translation projects on SmartCAT. In corporate accounts, on the contrary, you can find freelancers and you can also have an unlimited number of users on your account. Now, in some CAT tools, there is a license, so you can have a certain number of users on your account. In SmartCAT, you don't have any limits. For instance, we will now go to this wild doom rule project, which I hope Dr. Yurtbashi doesn't mind me sharing here. You can see that here we have press users and rights. We have, I think, close to 40 people working on this project. Now, if you were an agency or a customer and you were not using a CAT tool, you would need to send the file to every translator, have them completed, send it back to you, and it would mean a lot of overhead additional work for you. Now, in a CAT tool, in a comprehensive CAT environment, you can do this all in a single place. You can add translators, editors, proofreaders, project managers on in one ecosystem. For instance, you can see that here we have this wild doom rule project. First of all, we have many languages that we translate into, and for some languages we have up to 5 people working on the same project. You can see it there, the names of translators who are working on that project. And that's what CAT tools are also about, to be able to add many people to the same environment and to have them work together. But this is exactly the next topic I want to talk about. So far, are there any questions from the audience? I would love to answer if you have any. All right, then let's talk about collaboration. Actually, collaboration is a very important part in today's translation technology, maybe the most important part, because translation volumes are growing from year to year. Also, the deadlines are becoming tighter, and also you have to translate to more and more languages. If we talk about website localization, for instance, it is expected that by the year 2020 you would have to have 43 languages. You would have to translate your content to 43 languages to be able to cover the whole user base around the world. So the projects are becoming larger, and that's why you need powerful collaboration features. It's hard to show how collaboration works in hands-on experience. I will just show one video that we made for a conference some time ago that shows how collaboration can work and how it works in SmartCAT. Right, so here we were creating a project, setting all the rules for it. It was English to Russian, and we also set 2 stages, translation and editing. And we assigned it to a few people, to 2 translators and to 1 editor, ourselves. So here you see 3 screens. In each screen is a separate contributor working. Here we open the document with 1 translator, then with the second one, and with the editor. So the first translator starts working, and we can see that they can see that there are different people working on the document. So there they go. It's in Russian, but anyway. Then the second translator starts working from his part, because he cannot translate where the first one is working. He starts from the middle. And to the right, you can see the editor who sees everything. It is all done in real time. So you don't need any file splitting. You just start your work and others start theirs, and editors can work together with the translators. And this increases the productivity drastically. So that's how it works. You can see that in the status bar, which is above the editor's workspace, you can see actually 2 status bars, which is one for translation, the yellow one, the orange one is for editing. Vice versa, of course. And then in the end, you download the document and you have it already in another language with all the formatting and so on. Yes, that's an important thing I missed to tell you, that as soon as you translate your document, you can download it. You do not require any other actions to convert it to the format in which you were working. I'm sorry, I have to go back to my personal account to do this. If you want to download your document, just click download, translation. It gets downloaded. You open it in the editor and you see it here. As you can see, some text is already in Spanish, maybe not good Spanish, but anyway. The same goes on the same is true for any other format you're working with. So you get the file in the same format you had, and you don't need any other actions to do this. All right, so we were talking about collaboration. I already mentioned that it works good for large projects, and it also works good for managing the workflow and the stages where you want several people on different stages to work together. In this case, editors and translators, or reviewers and translators. Just some figure, around a month ago we had a project which involved 20 people working together on the same document. And as a result, we translated some 100,000 words in less than 2 days. And it all happened in one environment, and no files were split and nothing was sent back and forth. It was just done online. The next reason collaboration is essential is, as I said, multilinguality, because you want your you want your document to be available in many languages. In this case, you don't need to send it to different people. Instead, you can just create one project with a lot of languages. Coming back to this wild doom rule project, here we have 12 languages, but we also plan to add 14 more. And all this will be added here. So you can see that each language is represented in the same project. You can also use the Indonesian translation together with Ukrainian translation and so on. Moreover, if you ask SmartCAT support to allow this, you can enable a multilingual editor. I will show how it looks like. For instance, here we have a document with two languages, which are Spanish and French. And if you open the multilingual editor, you can see both languages in their own column. Now, a lot of things I'm talking about here are for maybe agencies, customers, corporate users, but I dare you, even if you are a freelance translator, to register a corporate account, because any translator can become a customer, because if you have some large order, you can easily find a sub-translator on SmartCAT, and you can use your corporate account for this, and it once again won't cost you anything. And the final reason collaboration is important, that it enables communication between users. It works like this. We open the document. And you see that there are commands to segment and commands to document. So if you have any question that you want to share with another translator or the editor or the customer, you just write it here. Maybe not this one, but we will do like this. And anyone who takes part in the translation can see this command. You can leave a command to a segment, or you can leave a command to the whole document. For instance, you can ask here, should we use formal or informal language for translation or something like this. And here you can ask for some term clarification or these sort of things. Now that's it, basically. I think we now discussed most of what SmartCAT tools are about and what you should get started. As I will turn off my webcam because it seems I have a slow connection. Do you hear me well now? Does it sound good? Okay, great. Thanks, Aldo. So as we did not succeed to manage the sound in the beginning of this webinar, we can get back to what I said in the very beginning. If you want me to, you can raise your hand and I will see how many people want this. Or I can just add a poll right now. Okay, so most people need to go back once again. So what I said, that in the very nutshell, CAT tools are about making translation easier for the translator. So instead of typing your translation in a text processor or PDF, you cannot type in PDF anyway, you just have this format where you have the source on the left and the target on the right. And this saves you a lot of time because you don't get distracted on formatting and this kind of thing. You just do what you do best, which is translating. We also discussed that your document is split into segments. So the system looks at the document, finds sentences or sentence-like phrases, and converts each of them to a segment. So your translation actually goes by confirming segment by segment. You also have these things that are called tags that represent formatting in the original document. For instance, here we could have had some HTML link, and instead of having all this HTML garbage here, we just have this tag, and if we put it in the translation as well as it was in source text, the final document will have the link as it should be. This is called tags, and we work a lot with them when doing a translation. The third thing is translation memories, which means that if you ever translate something with a CAT tool, it gets stored in a memory. And when next time you need the same word, it is automatically inserted. I will show better on another document I was working with. For instance, if you open this document, we can see that this phrase was already inserted from a previous translation. And the same will happen every time you open a document that contains from Wikipedia the encyclopedia. So you will not have to spend a second on translating such things, which is very convenient and allows you to concentrate on what is actually important and new in your translation. And the last thing I mentioned in that part that we missed is machine translation. Machine translation should not be used always, at all times. It should be used usually when you have some very simple text that you don't want to spend your mind on, so you just put it from the CAT panel in SmartCAT case, and you can insert the machine translation. You can insert it everywhere, and then you can change it as you wish. As I said, I'm not that good at Spanish, so I will not try, but generally speaking, I don't recommend you to use the machine translation for highly sensitive documents, for some marketing or literary documents, because they limit your creativity, and it's always better to start from the very beginning. But if it is some easy document, if it is maybe some technical manual where the language is very simple, you can easily use it and edit it later. Actually, this is called post-editing, and we will come to this in the next section of the presentation. So I think I have now covered what I missed first, or haven't I? Anyway, if you have any questions left, let me know and we will get back. All right, then we will get to the last part of our webinar, which is called Current Trends in Translation Technology. And I want to say that all the current trends in the industry have the reason that the volumes are rising. As I already said, the market is rising with every year, and the requirements to translate high volumes become more and more prevalent. And in this case, the answer from the translation technology industry is to provide tools which enable such growth. First of all, these are cloud solutions. Why cloud solutions are good for current environment? It is because they don't require you to install anything. You can log into the system from any place, and if you're a customer, you can find much more people who can plug into this system without having to install anything. So it reduces the turnaround time greatly. Another similar trend is unification. It means that instead of having multiple systems for different participants of the process, for instance, for translators and project managers and reviewers, you have one single system where you can manage all this. And you also can use some additional tools there, like I already said, dictionaries, glossaries, and so on. Third one, which we already discussed, is collaboration. I won't stop here further because I think we talked about it a lot. And finally, something I want to mention is post-editing. It is a topic that is, let's say so, a sensitive topic in translation industry because not everyone likes the idea that all text will be translated by a machine and then post-edited by a human. What post-editing is? It is editing of machine-translated text by a human. I want to say that post-editing is not for any job, but assume that you are a customer who has millions of words on his website and you need maybe some location descriptions or some product descriptions in an online store, and you want to globalize, you want to go to new markets. If you do it the standard way without post-editing, you will end up spending so much money that you will not ever return them. So another option is to go with purely machine translation, but this results sometimes in such a garbage that you cannot read it. So post-editing is something in between. A post-editor is not expected to do a flawless translation. What they are expected to do is to make a translation that reads in the language in which it is done, so that it can be understood and the customer who comes to your website later can understand what you were going to tell. Though, of course, it won't be ideal, it won't be perfect. That's why I say that post-editing has its place in the current translation technology environment. Maybe in some time there are people who say that post-editing will disappear because machine translation will become so good that post-editing will not be needed. But for the time being, we see a lot of post-editing projects here on SmartCAT. So currently, post-editing is on the rise. So that's about everything I wanted to tell today. Please ask some questions because I want to clear all your doubts you may have. I'm sorry for these technical problems we had in the beginning. If you want me to repeat anything or if you want me to go deeper, I think we have some time left, 10 minutes, and we can do this. I see Rade Jekic, you have a hand raised. Do you want to ask anything? I will gladly answer. So what's the question? Šta hoćeš da pitaš? All right. All right. Let's. Okay. There is a question. Is there any way that we can import? Maybe you assume you can import your existing work from other CAT tools, something like this, right? Actually, yes, you can import from traders, for instance. You can currently import SDL, SDL XLIFF files as a translation memory, and in our next release, which comes on this Friday, you will be able to import SDL packages, which is a huge milestone for us. So now it will be easily uploadable to SmartCAT with all internal settings, translation memories, glossaries, commands, and everything you had inside. Yes, TMX, of course, TMX is supported natively, and you can export all your translation memories into TMX. With or without tags, you can import them as well, so it is the standard format in which SmartCAT works. Anyone else? All right, thanks a lot. I loved to make this webinar for you. I think there will be more webinars coming If you're interested, please follow us on Facebook. We will be making webinars for aspiring translators in which we will explain how to best tackle the translation market. Yes, Aldo, thank you for this question. Actually, Aldo, when you asked me if I have any tips for beginners, I started writing this article that ended up being an article on our blog. So you can just go to our Facebook page, which has the address. I will now post it. SmartCAT AI. You can see it in the chat. You can also find it later on Facebook. I think it's easier to find. So we will be publishing a lot of new material for beginners and as well for people who are not beginners but who haven't used CAT tools so far. So we'll be giving more in-depth information about things you can do with CAT tools. You're welcome, Aldo. Anyone else? You're welcome. You are most welcome, and please tell your friends that there is such a webinar. We will be repeating it, and I think the more people come, the better it is for everyone, because we want translators to be knowledgeable of modern technologies. I also suggest that you take a look, of course, at our system at SmartCAT if you haven't already, because it is totally free. It is powerful and it is very easy to use. I can also suggest, if you are already on SmartCAT and you love it, that you check out the blog post which is called SmartCAT Friends. It's our affiliate program that lets you grow together with us by earning some bonus money for inviting new people to SmartCAT. So we want to raise this community, so I'm very glad you came here, and I'd love to continue conversation with you. So if you have any questions after this webinar, please feel free to write me directly at vova@smartcat.ai. I'll put this here as well. I'm always available at my email, so I will answer to you gladly. Then that's Mayowa. I'm not sure if it's your first name or second name. You asked, can I get any of the tools? Any of the tools? Any of which tools? You mean the CAT tools or something? CAT tools, yes. Actually, you can get SmartCAT, which is online in the cloud. You don't need to download anything. You just go to smartcat.ai and you sign up and you start working. Everything I showed today in this webinar is absolutely free for anyone joining us. There are no hidden fees involved. All right, then, if anyone has any more questions, please raise your hands and I will wait. If not, I will then end this webinar. And once again, thank you all for coming. You're welcome, Martina. You're welcome, Roberta. All right. Thank you very much, and see you later. Talk to you. Bye-bye.